Hello again, whiskey friends. Thanks for joining everybody for another Whiskey Wednesday. Quite an epic Whiskey Wednesday at that. You know, the release of these barrel picks and the timing of everything, we already had old Dominic and JT Melick booked for those interviews. So Kelsey Durrell and I have not sat down in the same place at the same time and had these picks again and just gotten a chance to discuss them. So we are excited to walk through all the barrel picks. If you have any of them, hey, time to pour them out. Hopefully they're in your hands. I keep hearing day after day that more and more people are getting it, getting a lot of good feedback too. So we do want to hear from you in chat as we go through these different pours. If you're on the same bottle, if you've had it, love to hear what you think. And gosh, we're just going to have some fun. As I was telling Kelsey and Darrell a second ago, we'll never have the moment like this ever again, where we just get to nerd out over our first barrel picks together in this fashion. I even pulled out all of my glassware here. So I've got the Whiskey Riff Lounge glasses and the Whiskey Saint glasses, and I've got the Rick Rose flight board. I'm nerding out entirely. So you're here with us, nerd out too. Thank you for joining today, whiskey friends. Let's kick off the show. Well, one thing we haven't discussed as I'm pulling the other two guys on, which pour we're going to start with. So in chat, as you get on, let us know which one you want to start with, whether we do the Dusty Wonka, the 8-year, the Sticky Icky Bourbon, the 4.5-year, the Boot Clapper Rye, or the Sublime Encore, which was the Blue Note. Let us know in chat. Kelsey, I'm going to start with you first. Which one would you start with if we gave you the choice? But I think we'll listen to chat.
What's up, everybody? Cheers. Welcome to Whiskey Wednesday. My favorite part of the day, for sure. I would definitely start with the Sticky Icky. It's so much fun to explore and sit with. That's whenever I was sitting with my buddies on Monday night, this is the second time they tasted it. They tasted it 2 times in a row on Monday night. And it's interesting to see the different comments of what they're getting now versus what they got the week before, or if they're letting it sit longer the second time around. So that's what I would do if it was up to me. But we want to hear from you guys. What are you wanting? I hear the bourbon engineer is agreeing with me.
Sticky Icky.
And then let's see, Norseman's up for Wonka's Willie. So let's hear it, guys. If you have a bottle, let's see which one has been your favorite. It's interesting to me that some of the people have liked, Cheers, the executive producer, have liked certain ones more than the other when I would have expected them to like a different bottle better. So it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. So Darrell, come in, say hi to everybody, and then let us know which one you think we should start with.
What's going on, guys? Good to be back on another Wednesday. In terms of order, like I've drank these each time that I kind of laid them all out. I drank them in the same order. I've always started with the Sticky, then went to the 8-year, then went to the Rye. But honestly, I kind of want to switch it up. See, maybe have the Rye first and see if that impacts, the other 2 bourbons, because I've literally only went in that order. The only time I had it outside of that's when I was just tasting them independently. So, I'm down for anything. What do we got in chat, though? I know I've seen Sticky a couple times. Anybody else say?
Sticky a few times. Why don't we go back up to the top, say hi to people, and then we can kind of keep track of when we catch up to that point in chat.
Yeah, and while we do this, I'm curious, who has these bottles in chat? I know they started landing this past week, so who all has them? And if you do, what are you drinking?
Oh, yeah.
Our main man, Top Dog, was in here first. and Mr. Ritter himself, which we already talked about. And let's see. Corn and Whiskey. Cheers, man. Good to see you in here. Tim Cornet. Uncorked is in here as well. Marty Party. It's not a party without Marty. So cheers, buddy. Good to see you in here. Whiskey
See you next
Nose.
week.
Is that a hot dog? That was a hot dog.
It was a hot dog, yeah. EJ, cheers, buddy. Stacy, cheers to you.
Yeah.
Good to
Have a
see
great
you
trip
here.
too, Stacy.
Mark B is here. Joe, the sample guy, is in. Make sure you hit the like. I appreciate that, Joe. Russ L, cheers and hello, whiskey friends. Cheers to you and hello as well,
Hello.
Russ L. T. Jarrett, good to see you in here, buddy. The bourbon engineer, Brian. It's good to see you in here. And then Ryan Copperwolf, buddy. Can't thank you enough on grabbing the legacy, bro. Everybody that's tasted it has been as impressed as I have. So
Yes.
Cheers to
I
you,
thank
man.
you as well for that one. That was an experience. I mean,
Jack-
we were comparing that thing to the 15-year
yeah,
double oaked 13th colony.
yeah, it was crazy, dude. It was nuts. So good. There's my buddy I get to see next week, JG. Looking forward to it, man. Top Shelf Dustin, cheers to you, man. Good to see you in here. David Smith is in here. Ken Dad 23, cheers all to you. We're getting close.
All right, David.
There's
Smith
a guy I was
loving this
waiting to hear from. All right, Tom. Which one is your favorite? Which one should we start with, Tom? Bourbon Jerk is in here. Cheers to you. Callie Drams is in here. Cheers, Jake. Let's see. OH. Cheers, all you wonderful whiskey people. I have the 8-year and the Sticky Icky with a sample of the double oak rye. I haven't tried the rye yet, but of the two bourbons, I gravitate towards the Icky more often. There you go.
Nice.
Nice to hear the feedback. Mojo 88 base and bourbon. Hit the like button. Good to see you in here. Tom says, start with the Icky. I have the Blue Note too, but haven't cracked it. I will say, Tom, I think the Blue Note will probably be the most surprising to everybody. It's so off profile of any other Green River distillate I've ever had. And if I showed you if Jeff has it, I want him to show it because it's freaking funny. The original sticker for that we were going to do. Do you still have that, Jeff?
The Mr. Clean one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still got that one. I could still use that one.
You
sometime.
need to show that one. That's funny. But yeah, it's really interesting. The Blue Note is way off profile, very different. That's why we chose it, to be honest. There's so many of those Blue Notes that all taste the same to me. This is not one of them. So let's see. Anybody else? Oh, Marty. Well, to be honest, I like Creed, but I still think we're way better than Creed. So I have to be honest with you, Marty. I know I have it on my phone. I just didn't know if you had it on your computer.
So Marty asks, when do we arrive? We get in on Thursday, Marty. Probably like
Wednesday.
No.
Oh, you mean a Bardstown?
Yeah, Bardstown. Yeah. Yeah, we'll be there Thursday early evening, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Around there. 4 o'clock-ish.
Finds this first.
I don't even know if I've seen this.
Yes, you have.
I have?
Yeah. If I do it by this, maybe it'll be. There we go.
What? Oh, did you find it? Yeah.
Wait.
That's one of the ones that I made when I was
Hold on.
experimenting. I actually think I could make that one even better next time.
Oh,
I think we still
Yeah,
use it. I just think we change it.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to change it once we leaned
don't
into the
think I don't remember
Turkapalooza
that.
side.
I've never seen that.
You don't remember that?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, Tom, I totally agree with you. Creed is the Nickelback of bands.
It's the Nickelback of bands.
Oh, shit. Tony, cheers
Tony.
to you, buddy. The Bone Snapper, but now I'm drinking Pisco to celebrate Chilean. I hope I'm saying that
Chilean
right.
Independence Day.
All right.
So special shout out to Tony. Thank you so much for giving us a shout out on a recent Whiskey Tribe video, because Daniel did reach out to me, and we'll see if we can do one of those guest review things. So from what I can tell, you were the instigator of that, Tony. So if I missed anybody else, let me know. But I did notice, Tony, that you called us out. So thank you so much for that. Putting that in
Appreciate you,
motion.
buddy.
Thanks again, Tony, for doing that. I'm excited because we were all talking about this afternoon, and Darrell and I both were like, well, that's the first channel I ever remember watching whiskey reviews on ever.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be cool. That's going to be really cool.
It's back in my Scotch days.
Yep.
That's all I was drinking at the time. And they were just literally reviewing all types of Scotch. I think occasionally they would have had some bourbon in there, but mainly Scotch.
All right. So what are we drinking,
John, some of these are so thick, I think they could survive the onion.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
I mean, I brought water so I could explore them with water, and I'm not usually that type of guy, but I think they change. These ones change. Now, everybody, as we go through this, so we're going to go through a taste through on all the picks. Kelsey, I also poured a little bit of the original Blue Note too.
Oh,
I've not done that comparison. So I've got 5 glasses here. That one I did in a drifting drams. I felt that was fitting. But we're not going to do any super chats again tonight. You know, we haven't done those yet in September, as we've had the interviews, and we know releasing all of these bottles at once is a strain, to be frank. You know, we would have loved to release them one at a time and had more of a controlled release, but sometimes you just get the cards that you're dealt. With that said, those bottles are still out there, and Shared Pour is working with us to help us kind of get those in people's hands. They've actually put another bundle deal on top of everything. So what you can do if you are interested, Dusty Dan is releasing a Starlight Armagnac finish that he's been waiting for a while. If you were to pair that in your cart with any of the 3 bottles that are left, which is the Rye, the Sticky Icky Backbone, and the Blue Note, it will take off shipping. Now, essentially, any combination of any of those bottles, of 3 of those bottles, takes off the shipping too. So don't go through this experience if we entice you to get any of these. Do not buy them tonight if you're planning to buy the Dusty Dan bottle. Wait till Friday, wait till the weekend. You can then pair things together for shipping purposes. So just wanted to put that out there, but just kind of keep in mind those bundle deals are out there and you can save on shipping as we go through this. But just wanted to warn everybody up front on the timing of things.
And from what I've heard, that freaking Armagnac finished one is really, really good from Katie and Ethan. They've talked about that for a while. So I know Ethan is all excited about it because he loves those type of finishes of cognac and Armagnac. So I know he's all excited about. Oh, there's Jason and Brandy. Cheers.
What's up?
Hope you guys are doing well. And if Brandy will let you spend some more money, you can buy another bottle, Jason. You can buy one of those bottles that are left. Let us know if you need the Shared Pour links.
I could just see a smile behind the camera right now.
I love their laughs. They have great laughs too.
Yeah.
What are we going with, gentlemen?
I think the Sticky Icky won the vote from the crowd.
Yeah.
So I think we start there.
Our good friend Ethan's face on it.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, and for those, I mean, I guess we should walk through these properly. So, you know, I can hold up the back while you're holding up the front, if that'll work. It doesn't look like it's gonna work. There we go. So this one clocks in at 4.5 years. This is a bourbon. Now, the story behind this one, we eventually got it straight because what we initially heard when we picked it and then an email that came out later was kind of telling us different things. But what we've confirmed is that it was a 36% MGP rye. And what makes this one unique is that it's actually aged in a deconstructed wine barrel that the staves were actually air dried for quite a while as well. So the unique elements that are coming out of this 4.5 year are due to that particular barrel. If you're looking for the reasons why the Sticky Icky is actually darker than the 8 year.
Yeah, the color's crazy.
All right.
Yeah, that's crazy. This is probably the one that you can sit down with the longest. Now, the 8 year is the same way as far as being able to sit with it for a while and pick it apart, but this one changes on you drastically while you sit with it.
Cheers, fellas.
Cheers, man.
I think I got the
Cheers,
same
everybody
one
out there. If you're not able to drink with us, if you're not able to drink these picks with us, let us know what you're drinking in chat too. And then as we go through this, if you have any type of questions about any of it, hey, let us know.
John said he had the Icky last night, compared it to decades down. Icky was a lot darker. Yeah. I think the air dried staves make a huge impact on these.
Oh, man. Still the same notes for me. I'm going to shut my mouth, though. I want to hear what you guys think of this one, because you know my main note. I've said it since the start.
Yeah, I know what you get. For some reason, I don't get that note. For me, it's tons of barrel char, spice, and just huge berry notes for me, which I don't remember the wine thing, which is probably why I'm getting so much berry on this. Like, it's not normal from like MGP for me is usually maybe that cherry vibe, but this is more like dark berry, which would probably contribute from, the deconstructed wine barrel that it finished in. Do we know how long it was in there for? I think we had like an email at one point.
I think it was 3 years, if I recall.
3 years
correctly.
in a second.
Yeah, I think so.
Crazy. But yeah, just a nice barrel char. Only 10 more days until Mr. Howie do it.
See you soon.
For me, it's almost like it reminds me, and maybe it's because it's this time of year, but it reminds me of like a caramel coated apple, like a really thick caramel that's like you could chew on it, along with that apple note, and then the barrel influence is really sweet. It's not it's not tannin, it's not oaky. It's just really, really sweet.
Yeah, so rather than going the apple route, I constantly drift into a sweeter, drier sugar cookie type of a vibe.
I can see that too.
And then the char that you're talking about, Darrell, I think that's then when I get the chocolate.
Gotcha. Yeah, I can't get past the berry on there. It's so much spice though. Like, it's not so much spice for me on the back of my tongue. It's really just sitting across, like right on the front and mid. But it just sticks to your mouth. No pun intended with the name of it, but like it is sticky and viscous. It's a 5-year-old or a 4.5-year-old, and like you see, like, yeah, you could see it right there. Like, look at the legs starting from like almost at the top of the glass, just dropping. Super viscous for a 4-year-old.
Velvety on the mouthfeel like that because of it too. All of these whiskeys, to be honest with you, are really viscous. I will say the only one that has been more viscous than this, I believe, was the first Blue Note. The first Blue Note was such a short barrel that it just coated the whole glass the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, that first Blue Note's pretty nuts. I was telling Jeff earlier, I went back to that a couple days ago, and I was like, oh my God, this thing is ridiculous.
Yeah. It definitely competes with some of these right now that we're tasting as far as the profile. But the new one, I will say, like we said before, we'll get to it in a little bit, but it's a completely different profile.
Woo. You need to do a little water in that sticky. I see you're doing it, Darrell.
Yeah,
I did about 3 drops. I did about 3 drops in an ounce. Oh my gosh. It ignited the finish. That was crazy. It kind of dulled it a little bit up front initially. I was not prepared then for the back end.
John Cloud, we had 30 bottles total.
Of what?
He asked how many were in the original first Blue Note.
Oh, yeah.
30 bottles total out of a 53-gallon barrel.
Yeah, super short barrel.
It does get spicier, even on the nose, Jeff.
Oh yeah, it. I can't wait for you to.
Whoa. The nose just got like marshmallowy. Like the MGP notes that I like, the graham and the marshmallow. I haven't tasted it yet since I added some water, but
yeah, it's all mid palate now back to the finish. It's just like explosion.
Yeah. It brings the higher rye out tremendously.
Yeah. Whoa.
Whew. I knew that was going to stand up to that water, though. I was telling them backstage I couldn't wait to do the sticky icky with water for the first time. Holy man.
That's pretty wild.
That is
what the heck?
Just let go.
It's a completely different whiskey.
Yeah, completely different profile lot by doing that.
Oh,
if you guys haven't been doing this with your whiskeys on a regular basis, you need to be doing it just to have a different experience. A lot of times it won't affect it as drastic, but some of these whiskeys can really change a lot.
That is crazy. You know, I never proof down stuff. No, I wouldn't even say really. I never put water. Wow.
While you're drinking it, let it sit, and it reminds me of like a pumpkin bread or a fall type of bread that has all of that clove and cinnamon and nutmeg and all those spices in it.
As soon as you said it, my mind went to Bob Evans. Like, what do they give? Oh, I guess that's a banana nut versus a pumpkin. I think sometimes they have pumpkin, but like a whole, I don't know. What am I looking for? A homestead kitchen kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Holy they.
Man, that changes that. Oh. Wow.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
That grips.
Ben, that's you haven't tried the first one. Well, I know a guy. If you're still coming up here, I think it's this week. Yeah, we're supposed to be getting together anyway, so
make sure you
try sample for sure. Yeah, let me know. I think it's this week, or is it the week after we get back, Ben? Let me know.
Oh, I need to get another glass.
Wow. That's pretty nuts. Holy shit. I wasn't expecting that.
That sticky icky's crazy. All right. Well, everyone in chat, let us know where we should go next. We got the 8-year bourbon, the double oaked rye, the boot clapper rye, and then the blue note.
Yeah, we got both blue notes here too.
Dude, that gives me a better hug when you wash it down, like when you water it down than.
Yeah.
But it kills the front part of the palate though.
It did. It did kill that part. Yep. That's why I wasn't expecting the finish.
Yeah.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me.
Here we go.
What we got?
There it is. Blue note.
I can't figure that one out.
Crazy blue
so we're going to do the
All right, Marty.
One, right?
Drink the blue note with us here, because this is about the craziest bourbon I've had in a while. Now, one of the things that I do think is interesting as we get into this, because I have a little bit of the original sample from the original barrel when we did the blue note pick. It stayed in the barrel an extra 2 months, I would say, depending on when he actually poured that sample and then it actually got dumped. The degree that some of these things can change or some characteristics can get exaggerated is utterly fascinating to me now, more than ever, after going through this experience fully end to end. Now let's see. I did blue note in this one. Oh, I can't wait to hear what you guys think of this one. We haven't sat down and just talked this one through now. Now we gotta talk it through.
I love the nose on this. Oh man, let me see. I'm just gonna compare it to the first one.
I'm gonna compare it to the first one too.
Which is, it's weird. Like I was talking about friends liking different bottles the most that I didn't expect. I did not expect Darrell to like this one as much as the other ones. Like
which pick the newest
the newest blue note. I feel like you like that better than some of the backbone, which I figured like you would gravitate more towards those. But you really like this one.
I like different. Well, good different, not like coffee different, but like, yeah, man, I like having bottles that are just unique. And I've had a few of their bottles, more so single barrels that have been like really, really good. But I had a bunch of juke joints, and just the profiles on both of the picks that we did were kind of completely different than the norm.
Yep.
And that's the reason why I like it so much.
Our original one is extra condensed, typical Green River profile, though. It's got the cherry notes there. It's got what I look for in the Green River now. But this one here, Marty, I'll be honest. I am halfway through this bottle because I am still trying to figure it out as well. And Marty, you got to experiment with water as we go through that with us here.
I need to pour a little bit more. Henry, cheers to you, buddy. I'm so glad you got all of those freaking picks. I'm a little jealous. So Henry went up to Kentucky last week amidst all of the chaos, grabbed the Four Roses LE, grabbed the Maker's Mark, Cellar Aged, and a bunch of other stuff. So cheers to you, buddy. I'm glad you got some of that, and you had a good trip.
Huge hit.
What's Todd saying over here?
I don't know. What did JG say earlier? Who timed me out? Somebody timed him out?
No.
There's no timing out. There's no timing out JG. Do I make JG a mod? Let's see. How do I do that?
I don't even know if we have. Do we even have outside of Todd? We got a few mods. I don't.
We added mods like during our very, very first live, and then we ever did since. Typically, I turn it on that you got to be a subscriber to comment. Although I don't think I did that today. I shouldn't say that out loud. But that usually keeps some of the riffraff out too.
Yeah.
All right, Wise
Todd,
Guy and JG. I'll hook you up.
Todd, you haven't really missed much, buddy. We poured 3 backbones, both of the juke joints, and we're just kind of tasting through them together for like the first time. It's kind of been like separate times that like either me and Jeff were on, or me and like Dusty, and I don't think us 3 together yet. Besides today,
I'm sure Jeff will have things with him.
Yes, yeah, I bought some just for that exact purpose. So I'm also driving versus these guys flying. So I'll have that. They'll be on the table. All 4 of these will be on the table. And fully expect not to bring them home.
So right off the bat, I know Jeff called this early on about the lime coming across. And I do get that. But I get it with like a cream and a little bit of graham cracker crust, like that pie suggests. Just right off the nose without even tasting it. That's what I get. Which I don't think anybody of us have ever gotten lime off of a whiskey before. So
not specifically off of bourbon. I think that's the weirdest part about this one is that it's a bourbon, and the notes that we're about to call out.
Yeah,
you wouldn't.
What's up, Dan?
For typical bourbon, but that's what was somewhat it's been kind of the inspiration of the stickers, whether it was the Kelsey one or when we leaned into more of the music one with Turkapalooza. But it's called the Sublime Encore because of those lime notes. And you can see the limes kind of floating around inside the sun on that riff on the Sublime logo. But there was always something about the lime and the custard that was there from the start. Now, there's one more interpretation of this that I've gotten since then. I guess there's actually 3 interpretations. So before I bias anything, Darrell, what do you get on the palate of this one?
Let me see. For a second, I was like, wait.
It's an impossible one to decode.
No, threw me
frozen.
No. Threw me off for a minute. I thought I was drinking a rye for a second. I was like, wait, this doesn't taste like rye. I just remember you talking about rye notes, but made my head go crazy for a second. For me, like it's very like citrus forward, which is kind of like what you would get more on like ryes too. But like it doesn't taste like a rye by any means, guys. But it's sweet, it's spicy. I'm getting like nice vanilla. I can see where you're going with like the lime. I don't know what note I would call it, but it's just not as vibrant and like sour citrus forward as like a lime would be for me. But I know what note you're saying that to when I'm nosing this.
Mm-hmm.
It hits me
Like-
effervescent on the mid palate and the finish. Like it bubbles on my tongue. Not like a rye spice would hit you, but like literally bubbles on your tongue.
I get some funk too, man. Like I always think of like high age Calumet when you get like that farm, like dusty barn kind of. And I dig that note. Like I don't know if that sounds weird to people, but like it's just it comes across for me that note. Like I usually think of age versus like actual funk, earthy. Yeah,
Earthy. So one of the interpretations of it too, Marty, if you're going down the earthy route, drink something sweet and come back to this one and see if the sweetness emerges. Because we started with the sticky icky and we lean immediately into the key lime pie and the custard and those type of notes. What Darrell's saying and what I've heard other people interpret as well, if you've ever had a wheatgrass shot chased with an orange, I think you get a little bit of that mid palate if you really concentrate on that. And that could be that earthiness there too. So if you can't quite put your finger on it, if you've ever done one of those wheatgrass shots, I am curious on
that's what I got.
how you want to articulate.
I thought my bottle was bad because I'm like, I've never ever gotten that note when tasted it. And when I got it, I was afraid. I was like, hopefully this isn't going to accentuate and get larger. But it does. You're absolutely right. To me, it was like, I think I told Jeff it was like liquefied grass or an earthy note type of that I'm getting. And I know that sounds probably gross and weird to people, but it's just different until you can put your finger on what your palate's tasting. That's what makes it fun.
Oh my
God. That's why I just keep exploring it, because I'm kind of addicted to it. I don't know. It's almost like how people like peated scotch and they just keep drinking it and they don't know why. I don't know. I feel that way sometimes about this one. But I like the wheatgrass shot. I used to get those downtown all the time until they went out of business. But chasing it with an orange particularly is like that note, because it does have that citrus if you want to go a different angle. It looks like Copper Wolf is calling out the lime too.
Lime, fruit, or Dolomite.
There you
What is Dolomite?
Dolomite. That sounds familiar.
Not familiar with the term. As it's gonna probably get a little louder here. Jeff, do you still have your sticky with water added to it? Do you got that glass? Jeffrey?
Yeah, I've got the glass.
Okay. Knows it for me.
Knows the
sticky icky.
Oh, the sticky icky now?
Yeah. Dude. Oh my God.
I agree, Marty.
I didn't like it.
It's one that intrigues you. And I honestly think, like, I haven't really drank that much of mine yet. So it just is one, like Jeff said, you're going to go back.
Yeah. I can't stop going.
Yeah.
I've been
drinking it too.
It's one that you're like, what the is going on? Because
it tastes, yeah. I mean, the text thread that we had was like, I'm not even sure I could classify it as a bourbon. Like, it's its own category. I really want everyone to experience this one, though, and come back.
I will say,
let us know the notes you're getting.
If you take smaller sips of this one, I think that it will benefit the experience. I noticed that when I'm taking larger sips of this one, it doesn't allow you to get some of the nuances of that particular whiskey. So, Mark, cheers to you, buddy.
I added a couple drops of water to that.
Bother him and come get a pour. Yes.
Dude, I added water to the Blue Note.
Ryan's leaning into the lime part. So I think it's a matter of the sweetness.
Yeah, I don't know that I've had that, Ryan.
Lime you buy from Lowe's.
Now, Marty, and everybody else is drinking the Blue Note. I got about 3/4 of an ounce. I'm going to put 2 drops of water in it. If I had a full ounce, I would do 3 drops of water. This one is actually the most intriguing with the drops of water in there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then I heard Jason talking about that same experience the other night when he was on Dusty Dan's about putting water into it. But very intrigued, Marty, to do this experiment with us.
Dude, I get all MGP on that damn juke joint with water in it. Like, the palate would fool me completely. Like, it's the old school vibe too, like the old graham honey.
So you're going back
vanilla.
into the pie route. Yep.
Dude, that's all it is with the water. Like, you don't really get that. It's a little bit more of that citrusy funk, but all that's gone with a couple drops of water. That is wild.
What's interesting is that it's only 115 proof, but to me, like, I don't know about you guys, but it drinks way different than 115.
I think I like that more with water.
Oh, I think so. I think with water too. On the finish, it's similar along the lines of what you just said. And Jason said this exact same thing. Instead of being key lime anymore, it turns into lemon meringue pie. So still getting the butteriness, the pie, the citrus, but it turns it more creamy and it brightens it up to a lemon.
Yeah.
You can call it MGP rye on a nose with the water. Dude, like, for me, with the water, I don't get as much of like that 95.5, but I am telling you, if that was poured in a blind, like, it's quintessential, like, so it's that older MGP. So like what's that bottle you had? Like the old Magnuses, those single barrels that were like 10, 11-year-old, like that profile. Even like the backbones.
Rye?
What's that?
Was it the 26% rye was the older one, Jeff, right? That's the older MGP profile is the 26.
36% rye. 36 or 21.
Okay.
But that's what that reminded me of, man. Like,
yeah,
high-aged, old MGP. Like, that is actually pretty. I'm gonna actually pour a little bit more of that and add some water and let it again.
Marty, I agree with you, man. It's crazy. It's like, if you're a person that likes to pick apart a whiskey, this is the one to do it with, as far as like trying to figure it out. Because I'm telling you, one drop and then you taste it, and then you try to taste it again with 2 drops, and then keep doing. You could explore this for at least an hour and still get different things on it.
Oh man. All right. Thanks, Mark.
Cheers, Mark.
Cheers, buddy.
The backbone, I will say, as we get into more of those with the 8-year and the rye, just a minute, is that you're going to see the advantages of what Nolan is doing with secondary barrels. So we'll get into that a little bit more when we taste through it, but you definitely can see that in these backbones.
All right. I'm going to water down the original one. I've never done this before. I'm going to give it the same shot, though.
I haven't done that. Dude, I will say each sample I had today with water was better than the original. Which I never do that or say that, because I never actually really do it.
One of the things that I think we just got to concentrate on for future barrel picks, and we did that throughout these picks, but making sure it's rich and viscous and oily, and it's giving us flavors throughout the experience. I mean, that was almost the bar that I set in my own mind. Like, I wasn't allowed to get any flatness across any part of the palate. And I think us concentrating on something that just has to be thick and rich that enables what we're doing right here, where we're seeing how things evolve. I actually don't like the old Blue Note with water.
No,
that didn't do it.
I do say that after the Blue Note finishes with water, it does come off way more lemon. Yeah.
What is happening there?
I don't know, but I've done that a few times and I never do it again afterward.
Mm-mm.
But the new Blue Note, but when it finishes, it goes with water. It finishes way more citrus lemon than lime. So
totally bummed. I just ruined one of my last pours of my Blue Note. I guess that's for science.
Benson, Blake, what does Jeff Durrell Kelsey have in common this week besides their love of whiskey? all their teams lost this past weekend.
That's to you, Blake.
Yeah, I think the hardest one was probably Darrell's. I have to say that was the most heartbreaking thing when your guy can't catch a fucking pass that's right in his fucking hands.
And he's usually a solid catcher, man.
Like
first game, he caught like a little bomb in the end zone. Like I'm like, oh my god, misses a 5-foot throw, which would have won the game.
Yeah,
but it happens.
I didn't expect it to be that close of a game either, Darrell.
I didn't either.
I really didn't. I thought that you guys would probably pull away and Atlanta would never be able to recover and come back. But
yeah, it's all right. Let's see, we got to get our ball together, get AJ back. Ooh. We shall see.
I poured the 8-year. Let's go on. We've only got 20 minutes left. We still got 2 whiskeys to go through.
I know. I knew it was going to take us a while to get through that blue note. It's so fun, though. I do like it.
If you guys haven't gotten the blue note, and I will say this, disclaimer, it's a lot of fun, but be prepared for an experience. Like, it's not going to be your typical bourbon experience. It is not that. It is one that is different. It is one to explore. But if you're wanting like a straight down the middle bourbon experience, go for the backbones. I feel like you'll be much happier with those. I really feel like this is the blue notes, not to be a snob or note or anything like that, but I think that that's for the more experienced whiskey connoisseur that likes to explore whiskey. I'll just say it that way.
I think I'd agree with you there. And I think it's actually a Scotch drinker's bourbon. I think that's probably who's going to dive into it even deeper on us.
Yeah.
Who was that?
The blue note being for a Scotch drinker, a Scotch drinker's type of bourbon.
It just, there's more to explore, and like you can with Scotch, I feel like. Okay, so I'm pouring the 8-year-old, going into the nose on this one, guys.
Oh man,
it comes across a little bit lighter than I remember, Jeff, on the nose.
It's very. This is where the tasting plays its biggest part with me, because I did this before when we first got the bottles, and I'm glad we're ending on the one we're ending on. I love the 8-year the most when it's my first pour of the night versus when it's my last pour of the night. I think it's one of those ones that when you explore it first, it blossoms everywhere. But if you put it in any type of blind flight, I do wonder what it'll do there. And then as we go through this experience here, but this has been the reigning favorite of most people that have got it is the Wonka.
I will say, like,
that nose
it does really good. It does come across a little bit more muted after tasting these others, but like Jeff said, if you're tasting it first, it really does come across as more complex. Color on it is good, but just the color difference between that and the rye is crazy. So you've got a 5-year-old rye that's 2 times as dark as this. Granted, it's a double barrel, but still.
Oh, plum jam. There we go. There's some good notes. Plum jam on butter toast.
Yeah.
See the plums. I get the blackberries. Man, this is similar with that sticky icky where I get those dark berry notes. I get the same on here. Like you said, a little bit more complex. Does drink like it's older, but like the sticky icky drink's older too, right? But you can taste from how I guess a little bit more balanced this is that it would be an older whiskey. But yeah, I remember when we first had this, like this was like the by far for me. But honestly, going back through these, like since we got them, I think I've probably honestly visited them like almost every day since we got them. And it's been like sticky one day, then as of lately, it's been like the rye for me, just on how different it is. That double oak just did something special to that damn MGP, man, that I don't get on any whiskey I have right now.
I will say that this 8-year after those comes off a little bit drying on the finish, just ever slightly drying. It's got a little bit more tannin notes, but it is very slight.
I'm totally getting the plum. I don't know if he just put that in my head, but that is all I'm getting now on the finish.
When he was writing me last night, whenever he was tasting it again, and it was just all about like almost plum or
he was. that was a good sip.
The what's the one that Darrell always fools us with? Fig. He was getting a lot of fig notes on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's super, super dark. Yeah, I can see the fig. I can see more plum than fig, but yeah, just dark berry, blackberry.
Yeah.
Black cherry, plum. Nice spice.
It's getting drying though. I agree with that. Off the flight in the order that we did.
Yeah,
but I don't get that note whenever we drink it. When I drink it by itself, either at all. So,
Darrell, I need a nip of the comparison.
The Houdini.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Calling you out on the spot. So there are some things that this Willy Wonka does that I recall from the Houdini that was a Mash and Journey pick, and it was one of our favorite bottles overall in 2022. Yeah. And this one would thus be 2 years older, and I don't have anything to compare it to anymore, but the memories that it triggers in me are still those notes, even sometimes getting the one that the Houdini did to us a few times is when it morphed into either an Irish or a
single malt.
American single malt. And I get undertones of that still on this one.
I can see that. I can definitely see that.
Oh,
that's brighter for sure. Hold on a second. Let me turn my little fan off real quick.
Here we go. Hey, OH is getting into it. Kickback sweetness after mid-palate. Spice subdues. Blends in with the ashy. Yep.
That's a good whiskey note there, OH. I agree with you on that.
The kickback is interesting. And then it goes right back into that ashy oaky note, right back down again.
There's a cola note on this too that I get that's more like a Dr. Pepper note than a cola. I don't know if you guys are getting that at all, but it's mid-palate for me on that.
Since OH is bringing this up, because Kelsey, you're the most tactile of the three of us. Like where it travels, where it finishes, all that kind of thing. Like I'm just flavor notes and what it's triggering in my head. You're following the whiskey. What amazes me though is when OH says something so specific like that, like flavor notes may not trigger for every person, but if you can track the whiskey as it runs across your palate and experience something that he just said, how it kicks back like that, I find that just so fascinating. Like trying to be just so in tuned with how the movement of the whiskey goes and the transitions of the whiskey.
Cheers, Hawk, man. Congrats on your subscriber count.
15K.
15K, brother.
Yeah. No congrats on your internet quality, but way to go on your subscriber count.
It's always something, Scott. It's either your mic or your internet quality, something like that. But man, we do need to get you back on the channel soon, Scotty. Have you on. I don't know if you got any of these, Scott, but if you did, let us know what you think. If you tasted through any of these, I'd love to hear what you think.
All right, Darrell. I've been waiting 2 weeks for this answer.
Houdini still for me over that 8-year of ours.
But does it travel any similar routes? Is it playing like a little bit of a similar song?
In terms of that berry, right? Like, and I call that as soon as like we tasted that Houdini, you know, it's a little brighter and sweeter up front, but the Houdini's like all berry forward, which is reminiscent to this 8-year pick, you know, because I get a lot of that dark berry. The 8-year does drink heavier. Like, I don't want to say it's more viscous. Maybe it is a little bit more viscous, but just the flavors of that Houdini is just like crack, dude. Like, I haven't went to this bottle in a long time. I still got the one that I got from Jay. This is like my last, like, really low one. But I do got a backup. Actually, no, I got two because you gave me one. Shit. Yeah, I got two.
Yeah, you should be loaded.
Yeah, I got two. But that is just so damn good. Yeah, so I would take that over the 8-year, but not to say bad things about the 8-year because I think it's really, really good. It's just this was a special bottle. A lot of people within chat already know about the Houdini from Mass and Journey. Probably one of my top 5 picks that they've ever did. If not, maybe like top 3, to be honest. Like it's it's so good.
Jeff, it does remind me of on the finish of that maltiness that the Houdini comes off with, though. Too, yeah, I'm seeing that on the finish more and more.
That's what was getting me. It was when that's the memory that it triggers. Is all of our times of drinking that Houdini and those blinds and getting confused, especially with the Stranahan's.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yipper.
So,
goodness,
we got one left.
Got so blue.
Now, we got 71 people in here. For those that have joined recently, we are walking through all of the barrel picks that have released here in the last 2 weeks. There are some left. So at last count, there's 60 left of the Sticky Icky, 60 left of the Blue Note, and 20 left of the Boot Clapper Rye, which is the last one that we're going to go through and has been my favorite since the tasting day. But we'll see if it's still my favorite now.
Dude, it's special. I haven't went back to it since, for today, but God, like it's not to me MGP rye. Like on the palate, like I don't think I would guess that at all. And that double oak just crushes it. Looking forward to trying them out. Yes, Scott, dude, yeah. I think you're gonna like all of them.
I'm bringing one of each, and I need everyone to crush one, just like this past weekend when I brought one of each to a bachelor party. So, Ryan, when you're bringing up that note that you were bringing up earlier, that was kind of my weekend. But getting into this here, I know we're going through these. We have not gone through these together in this fashion, having a whole lot of fun. I mean, I'm nerding out with all of our theme glasses and the flight boards and everything else here. With these, just a warning again, I said this off the top of the hour. Right. Dusty Dan is releasing an Armagnac on shared pour on Friday and this weekend. Starlight Armagnac finish. If you pair your cart with the Blue Note or either the Backbones, it does remove the shipping. So if you plan on getting that note from Dusty Dan and you're intrigued by what we're talking about, don't buy right now. Wait till the weekend when the Dusty Dan bottle comes out. If you're not interested in the Starlight Armagnac, just know that if you do put a combination of these 3 in the cart, they'll remove the shipping. So you get a little bit of a perk there. So if you were interested in getting like 2 of them, it's like $27 more to get a second Sticky Icky. So just want to say that out there, just advise you on how to spend your money the best you can and double up on that shipping where you can. And that's going to be the deals going on this weekend. The rye.
Oh, good.
I'm
buddy.
So excited about the rye.
Dude, I just took a sip. Dude, 08, if you got room to drink more, man, pour that sample of that rye I gave you. Drink it with
and there's 20 of these left. I know some people that have backed it up since it's gotten in their hands.
Yeah. Walker Hines tasted it. He was like, oh, shit. Immediately. Doop, 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 doop. Don't mean to call you out, brother, but like, shit. He was going to call him out. He bought backups immediately. I got literally a sealed box right now from freaking Shared Pour with bottles in there.
So one thing we were talking about before the stream started, everybody, is that if you start with the Boot Clapper Rye, you'll get not typical, but 95.5 mintiness or pininess can come off on the nose. If you start with bourbons, it's not there anymore. I didn't get it on that sniff at all. Did you guys get that mininess or the pininess?
I didn't get it on this one, no. But when I first drank it by itself, yes.
Yeah, I might have poured it once or twice.
Yes, to be clear, 3 bottles, any combination of the 2 Backbones, the Rye, the Sticky Icky, or the Blue Note, or the Starlight Armagnac when it drops this weekend. Any combination of those 3 gets you Any combination of those 4. Yeah. 3 in the cart. Any combination of those 4 will get you the free shipping on that. So
Marty must be tight for money. He's like, stop advertising.
Trying to have him gone.
He's trying. What he's trying to do is he's trying to see how much money he spends at the Blitz to make sure he has money for the bottles afterwards.
See, I won't be going crazy. The only thing I really want is
your pain, bro.
Get me a disco. I'm not really going to be buying many bottles, I don't think, out there.
you can still get that pininess.
You do get the double oak, and it's a mixture between double oak and a toasted note for me. And it's not the young sawdusty toasted that I get on some like MGP stuff. Like that double oak, like I said, does some crazy stuff to this one. It's kind of
still my favorite. This is still my favorite.
Yeah,
so
I think this is my second. I still like the 8-year the best. What I did notice when I was doing a review, not quote unquote review, but just going through tasting notes of myself and I recorded videos today, is that it's way more vanilla when I haven't tasted anything. After tasting some of these and then going to this, I get way more of the rye aspects of this than I did before just drinking it by itself.
Let me check, Andy.
Blackberry toaster strudel that's toasted a tad much with the dusting of cinnamon and washed it down with some orange juice. Is this the rye we're talking about, Jason?
Yeah.
So he's getting a blackberry. What did I say? I said blueberry earlier. He's getting the blackberry.
Yeah.
I understand the angle though on that one, Jason. I think what was my tasting note I said earlier? A lemon bar that's going to then have that
Blueberry
crust underneath it, the powdered sugar, but then a blueberry reduction. But something that's combining those notes. Like I'm still getting a citrusy note on there, but blackberry or blueberry could totally go down that angle.
I did not, however, share the story about this bottle and where the name came from, which I might do on Patreon only, but we'll leave it at that. You'll have to ask other people.
Yeah, I think that's my favorite too, man. I think the 8 years are very close second.
Ooh, this is a good call out.
Dude, I really like that. Just cracked the rye tonight and it's delicious. It's pumpernickel bread and butter with orange zest. Okay. I can see the pumpernickel ride.
Yeah, you can definitely see that.
Because I do get a similar experience with some of that dark pumpernickel from Middle West in terms of certain notes.
That's a good call, Nicholas.
What sticks out then, the commonality on all that's going to be the how buttery it is on the crust side of it. Like that does stick, man.
Absolutely.
Oh, I didn't explore it with water. Let's see if
I didn't either.
I'm out of water. As you guys are putting up the water in here, guys, we've got some fun stuff coming up. Next week will be our 2-year anniversary. We're going to be doing a special stream. There you go.
It's still there, Gandy. It's the S731 Backbone Bourbon Company S731.
But next week we'll be doing a 2-year anniversary at the Turks, and we'll all be together and having a blast next Wednesday night. So make sure you guys tune in. I will say I will be giving away a sample pack of all of this that we're tasting through tonight next week to a winner.
Ooh.
Otherwise, if you haven't tasted any of these, or if there's one you haven't tasted, I'm going to be giving a sample pack away with all of these. And I'll even put a sample of the original Blue Note as well in there. So you can have every pick that we've ever done so far for next week. Make sure you guys tune in. All right, here's Jason's rankings. Wonky booty clapper, twerking turds, Ickies of the Ickies. I think we need to consult Jason whenever we come up with names. I kind of like his better a little bit.
Working Turks.
No water on the boot clapper.
I added some. I was about to taste it. No, you're not getting. It's not doing it. Rye.
So Ryan's in on the rye first,
Rye.
then the 8-year, then the Blue Note for me.
Man. So I am close to Ryan's order. I think I'm the most divisive on this one. I like the Blue Note. I'm gonna go boot clapper, the Blue Note, the sticky, and then the 8-year. I think the 8-year I love on its own, but it's not the one I love exploring. Like, it's so good, and I go to it the least. It's so strange.
But keep in mind, this is Jeff's interesting bottles. So keep in mind, he's a weirdo.
Hey, feel how I feel, Kelsey. Although I didn't do water in the 8-year. Let's see here.
I didn't mind. I like the rye without water, but I don't think it's bad with.
I think it gets a funky note on it with water that I don't prefer.
Yeah.
I'm not getting. I don't mind it, but I would just prefer it without. On the contrary, though, the freaking sticky icky and the first Blue Note, right? Is that what I added? Yeah, those with water are very, very good. Double oaken on the rye is much more drying than the 8-year, in my opinion. I get the dark pumpernickel rye on the front palate. That's nice and viscous. Oiliness level reminds me of Corbin Cash. Gotcha. It is a little drying, but see, I like dry. Like, long as it's not like literally drying my whole mouth out, but that double oak kind of does that a bit on this one. But the flavors on this freaking rye is crazy. Todd's like, he's my weirdo.
Guys, there's 54 of us left in here. Thank you guys for hanging out with us tonight. We're wrapping up. Again, next week is going to be something. I'm just telling you, we're going to be freaking go nutso next week. You might be surprised at a giveaway bottle. I'm just going to say nobody knows this yet. So I'm just not even Jeff and Darrell. So you better tune in if you want to see what the giveaway bottle is for our 2-year anniversary. So, all right.
We do got a Patreon stream coming up right after this, guys.
Yeah. So everyone in the Patreon, we are going to do the Patreon overtime. So we'll kick over there. We'll kick that off at 9:10 as scheduled. I think that actually works really well.
Yep.
And then looking forward to seeing everybody. I'm sure we'll say this again on Wednesday, but everyone that's going to be at the Bardstown Blitz, we can't wait to see you. In 3D, of course, have some surprises planned for that as well.
And we are catching up on giveaways, right, for Patreon? That's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So giveaways, guys.
Yeah. We'll do our giveaway. We'll do our September giveaways too.
See you in a few minutes, guys. See you.
Cheers, everybody.
Oh, actually, I'm going to do one more sad note to end on before we send you over to Jason's. But we are just going to end the stream because YouTube figured out that David's song was a cover of just for friends or just my friends, whatever it was. So we got demonetized on a few videos because of David's video. So we'll come up with some other thank you screen for everybody. But thank you to all of our patrons there. And sadly, you won't hear the Whiskey Friend song.
Got what I need.
Oh, Jesus.
Now we're demonetized again. Not that we would monetize the lives anyway. But bye, everybody.
See ya.
Cheers, guys.